Okay, so I created a new Flux network, and we've called this the Power Station Network. And he has just the controller, and he has the plug. And basically, everything coming out of this guy, at the moment, get back to RF real quick. All 199.56 producing KRF is going into that network, and that network is set up on this induction matrix down below. So I've already done one so I could test to see how it worked, and we're going to do another one here together. So let's show you that real quick. So that plug puts it into the network. This point takes it out of the network. So basically it's just a direct line from him to him. And this guy, he's getting 157, or he's at 157, almost 158 giga RF, I guess. Like huge, insane numbers, right? And he's storing it off, and he's outputting. That's what he's outputting from the network. He's basically taking what that has and pulling it in here. Now, this guy is back on our regular network. This is a Flux plug, and so he's taking out of this battery, basically, because these are just big giant batteries, and putting it into our network that everything else gets its power from. And he's just basically keeping it full. I've got a ton of stuff just set to no limit right now, disable limit. Our entire mob grinding area is no limit. Like, it's creating just everything insanely fast, and it's because the amount of power that this guy is pushing is insane. And we're not even done yet, because eventually I am going to build those giant steam thing and the turbines, or whatever they're called. Right now, though, this is fine. So we're going to add another one of these, because I want 4 of these, just to kind of have our power partitioned. And what we'll do is we'll put one of these on all 4 of them, and it should split up 4 ways the power coming out of this, and start filling all 4 batteries up. Like, I can't even imagine. This has been running since yesterday, and you can see how little it's filled. I can't even imagine the amount of power we'll have. Like, it looks like we can store 3.68 tera RF, I would guess what the T stands for. Like, insane amounts, right? So anyways, here's how this works. So this is induction casing, and then I've used structural glass because I like the way that looks. Any of these mechanism multi-blocks that you build, you can use structural glass in place of any of the casings. You know, that way you can see on the inside, and you can see what it looks like. And then I have 18 more ultimate induction cells, 9 more ultimate induction providers, and some more casing. Since we started growing osmium yesterday, like, I've got 12K stored off now. I've also set up a steel seed in our cloches, because steel was becoming an issue too. So that's, as it builds up, I'm gonna make more of these. Basically, probably by the end of today, I'll fill all these up, because I just basically set it to craft, and it's like a 30-minute craft job to make, say, these 18. Set it to craft, and then, you know, go about my business and leave it to run, and then we'll come back and do it. But what you're going to do is you're going to basically build your multi-block shape, and it needs to be a cuboid, and I think it needs to be even. So if it's 5, it needs to be 5. So this is a 5x5. These are all 5x5s. And what you do is you take your cells, and you put your cells in, and it doesn't have to be top bottom. You can have these ports anywhere you want these ports to be, but wherever these ports are, the next block down or the next block in has to be this provider. So basically the provider creates a connection between the cells and the ports. So make sure you have that in there. But I'm going to do everything top and bottom here. So we're going to put in these, and you see how they kind of connect together. So we're going to do 18 cells, and these are the ultimate cells, which is why we're at like tera amounts, which is insane. And then we're going to, and those are the ports there. Then we're going to do the induction providers, and we're going to do these 9 across the top. And basically the induction providers, they give you the amount that can be transferred, right? Like, so I don't know if I can even create, maybe later on I'll be able to create the amount of energy that these can actually handle. And then we're going to do 2 ports like that, and then we're going to do a casings the rest of the way, and you'll know if it if it built, because if you click on it, you'll get this UI. Like if I click on this, you notice nothing happens. That's because it's not built, but this one's built. So, and also you'll notice it kind of smooths out the look of it a little bit. But anyways, so this guy can handle the same amount, Tera, 3.68 Tera RF, just insane amounts of stuff. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna create another point, basically. Or we're gonna take a point, we're gonna just use another point. Take one of these, and we're going to come over here, and we're gonna say, this one I called, if you look at the point, I called this matrix 1 in, and then this is matrix 1 out, right? And so we're gonna call this guy matrix 1, or matrix 2 in, put him there, and call him, let's change his network, so he's on the power station network, and we're gonna call him matrix 2 in. And so this should be, and we're going to disable his limit, this should be splitting the difference between this one and that one. So he's inputting 199 KRF and he's outputting 44 KRF, so he's still going up. He's still got a plus. This guy, now he's not actually doing anything. Why not? Let me look at this for a second. Did I do that right? That is a point. That is a point, right? Yes. Okay. Also, let's do this real quick while I'm thinking about it. We need our configurator. This thing that we made. Where'd you go, configurator? I'm missing it. Hold on. No, right here. There he is. Our configurator. And we're going to shift click on this port here. Boop, right? And that will transfer, that will toggle this to output. So this is where we're going in, this is where we're going out. We'll get that out of the way. But for some reason, is he actually getting anything? He's got 6959 MRF, but he's not going up any more than that. There's nothing. He's storing 6959 million. He got a million RF somehow. Why are you not going any further than that, I wonder? Let's go over here real quick. Let's see what's going on with this guy. He now has... he's still storing that much. May have to limit them to get them to do an even split, because it may be that this first one is just taking it all before he has a chance to get any of it. So let's take a look at that real quick. Let's go down here and we'll look at what he's actually pulling into the network. If we can get down. Alright, you are outputting 199 565, so basically 200,000 per, right? Is that what I'm reading there? So if we limit this to 100,000 per, and we turn that back on, so he'll now only pull 100,000 per tick, right? And then we can come over here and we can look at him. He should be going up now, yeah. And we're gonna limit him to 100,000 per tick as well. And turn that limit back on. He's not quite 100,000, but he's close. And so now he's gaining, he's like already at like 125 million RF or whatever. That's insane. This is insane numbers of power, guys. See that? And his output is, he's not outputting anything, so he's just storing off. So he's building up. He's outputting, still taking more in than, like, he's only outputting half of what he's taking in, so that's cool. So that's how we'll build these up. And then once I get these in, what I'll do is I'll probably limit these to about 50,000 per tick, something like that. And that way it's a four-way even spread. And then later on, when we build the boiler, the giant boiler, and the giant turbine system, it's supposed to push that to, like, I don't know, like some insane number. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Right now he's doing quite well, honestly, making more power than we can use at all. Right? He's producing, what, almost 200,000 KRF per tick. That's weird, because it was producing 400... Oh, no, I guess it was storing 400 million. So it's producing 200,000, and it should still be pretty... Fuel is staying high. Fuel's keeping up. Heat is... Probably the heat in the case stays down because we're pulling the power out. The best I can figure out on that. But yeah, this is pretty nice. So my next thing is going to be to finish these 4, get them hooked up, and I'll do that off camera. And once these 4 are hooked up, actually let's go ahead and start that next craft. If we do induction, and we want to make the cells first. So if we want to make 18 more cells, we do next on that, and we do start. This guy will kick off, and it'll take a little while because you see you need 20,000 of these enriched alloys for that alone. So right now it's looking at somewhere around 2 hours, though that'll go down a lot once it figures this out. And then after that, I'm going to probably start working on building the giant boiler and the giant turbine system, and we'll see if we can push this this power even further. Alright, now that we have all of the batteries in place, we can turn our attention to redoing the boiler and the turbines. We're going to start with the boiler, and you'll notice I have recipes for casings and for valves, also for structural glass, heaters, pressure plates, the pressure dispersers, all of that. So we'll start with the glass, because that'll be the first big one that we need to do, the structural glass. And I think we're going to need like 1,000 or more. So I'm going to go ahead and craft like 1,200 to start with. And that'll get us kicked off. We'll have to craft some glass and all of that. But that'll get us a lot of structural glass that way. And you can see it's crafting pretty quickly because, you know, our furnace is stupid fast. So that one shouldn't take too long to do. We'll do this again when we go to do the turbines, but for now we're just going to do one thing at a time. So like this will be done in no time. Now that we've got steel on a seed, it should be building up pretty quickly too. Like 20 seconds, we'll get all of our structural glass. Alright, that's almost done. While it's doing that, let's go ahead and do, let's go ahead and make, what you call it, the boiler casings. And I did some quick number crunching. Like we're probably looking at like 800-900 for that or something like that, but we're gonna use that to make the, I think, the pressure dispersers and the heaters too, maybe, I don't know. So let's go ahead and do like 1,000 of those to start with. I think that should do. That one will take a little bit longer because he's gotta crush all that coal, pulverize all that coal to do. Also, we ran through what steel we had built up, so it's gonna make some more steel. So we'll give that a minute or two. Yeah, see, it's cooking steel over here now. So boom, 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 boom. Let's get these crushers built up. Keep them going really quick. Quick. Our petroleum's holding solid because we made a bunch of it. We should be good there. Let this do its thing. Killed a ghost. Came through the wall. So yeah, he's good. And then we're gonna need, after that's done, we're gonna need, how did I figure up? I figured I want to do 2 rows of heaters to make sure it boils through the water quick. So let's do superheaters. Hang on. Superheaters. Let's go ahead and craft like 600 of these. Probably have leftovers, but that's okay. Alright, and that one's gonna be a little while because he's gonna back up behind the other guy. It'll take like Yeah, right now he's going to be minutes, so we'll come back when that's all done. Alright, so there is our boiler. 17 by 17. He's got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pumps on there. And why aren't these attached? I did something wrong here. What did I do wrong? Oh, I did not mean to do that. Oh, it was just a visual bug. Okay. Weird. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We might finish out the rest of this if we think we need it. You see where the water level is. It's going up. We may have to add them all the way around the sides. We'll see what our limitation is. If we run out of water, we run out of steam. I'm not really sure what the numbers are on that side of things. But we'll see. And then these valves are the start of going in for moving the steam over to here, where we are going to put our turbines right here on this chunk. This chunk right here. So before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and dig out this area here, get it all dug out and ready to go at that same level that that's at, because it's gonna be a 17 by 17 turbine. And I'll be back. Okay, so I'm not sure how this all will shake out in editing finally, but I'm going to show you guys basically the lessons I learned when trying to build the best power source currently in the game. And you can see it down there, the final version. By now, I'm sure you would have seen me building those two buildings, basically. What we ended up with is a max size boiler and a max size turbine. He runs heat over to the boiler, which makes steam, and then it transfers the steam over to the turbine, which uses that to make power. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a few things you'll need to do what I did, the final version here. First things first, you're going to need a laser relay, I think it is, an energy laser relay, one of these guys, and that is made basically with an advanced coil, some redstone, some obsidian, and these redstonia. We've covered all this. Remember, this was the thing that you basically threw some redstone on to here, and it gives you redstonia. If you don't remember, I can show you that real quick. Redstone dust. Let's take a whole stack of this dust, and let's turn off our card here. Make sure it goes off, because he'll try and pick it up if we don't turn it off. And remember, this is one of those atomic reconstructor lasers, and I've got him hooked up to the whole, like, if you press the button, he shoots the laser thing. So if we go like this and chuck that out there, he zaps it, and we have redstonia. Okay? Once you've got that laser, then what you have to do is you take that laser itself, and you chuck that laser again. Well, do it forward. Chuck this laser again onto the reconstructor. Get in there, dang it. Try that again. Boop. And then he zaps it, and it becomes a fluid laser relay. And this is all you need to transfer water into your tank, to transfer steam to your other tank. I mean, this guy right here, he transfers basically an infinite amount per tick. So it's basically a constant number. And when you hook that up to a sink, which let's go downstairs and I'll show you real quick. Let me get my guy back here. Doot, doot, doot. Boop, boop, boop. Alright, down we go. Alright, we're gonna eventually put a teleporter in here. Alright, so to get all the water I needed into my boiler, all I needed was one valve, one boiler valve, a single fluid laser hooked to a sink, because the sink provides infinite water. Basically, as much water as you can transfer. And since these transfer infinite amounts, this guy stays full. Excuse me. He looks empty, but that's just a bug with the UI. I've noticed if I turn off the laser, what happens is this turns blue, and then you'll see it go down. So just look at the number. You see how the number is like some ginormous 40 billion or 4 million, I don't even know what that number is. That's what's actually in the tank, so don't worry about the UI. Plus, this guy looks like he's full. What you do is you put one of these fluid lasers on here, one on here. You take a compass, and you right-click, and it'll say both directions, or only adjacent blocks, or out of adjacent blocks. Basically, you want it to come out of this one, and then this one to be into this one, and then you'll see, like if I was to shut this off to only into adjacent blocks, this water is starting to go down, and after a few minutes I think it just doesn't know how to deal with that large of a number or something. It'll update and it'll go back up. But that's what we want, is a full amount there. So he stays basically at that number. What I did was, let's go outside and I'll show you. I fought with this like for an entire weekend, guys. Just so you're aware, it took me an entire weekend to figure out the right setup. But it's a 17 by 17 square, and then it's 18 high, and I only left one block space for steam, because you don't need the steam here, you need it over there. So basically, as quick as it can make it, it transfers it over there. So a single block space for steam. The rest of this is empty for water. And then it's like, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 levels of boilers, maybe? I think I've got, or superheaters. I think I've got like 6 levels of superheaters. And then this is just a thermodynamic transferred pipe or whatever, thermo whatever. It comes out of him. One single pipe puts into him, and that provides all the heat that this thing needs to go. All right. And then I've got 4 lasers over here because I was testing. You have to put upgrades on these to get them to go the distance that I've got them going over there. I only needed 1. I could take 3 of these off and it'd be fine. I was, like I said, I've spent all weekend trying to get this right, and now I realize I don't need but 1 of these. You only need 1 of these here. So at the top on the steam layer, you do another one of these fluid lasers, and you put it coming into your boiler over here, or to your turbine over here, and then that will provide enough steam for what you need. Now, if you go to look this stuff up, you're going to read a lot of stuff about 20 high or 10 high turbine is the most efficient. Well, you don't care about efficiency with this system, just so you know. You want to get the most power, and this system gives it the most power, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm sorry, 10 high is the most power. I think it was 14 is the most efficient. So I have 20 blades in here versus 28, which you'll read 28 is the best way to go. Not for the system, not for the power coming from that guy. You'll notice I have 6 levels of these vents. These vent things here. So there's 6 levels of these vents. Plus I've got vents on the top. So it's all vents and then 6 levels of vents. And what this does then is this produces like 267 million RF per tick. So the steam gets moved over here. He then turns the turbine and it outputs that much power. Now, one other thing I want to point out here that caught me for the whole weekend, something I didn't understand till the end of the weekend when I finally finished this, is your numbers are dependent on actual energy moving. So, if this guy here, if what you've got is your output, this is the output valve, the turbine valve, this is where energy comes out up top there. Basically your energy goes in through that, and it has to be on the steam layer. You basically, or steam goes in, sorry. You're sending steam across into this guy, and then anywhere on the bottom layer you can pull energy out. Well, the flux plug, if you set the flux plug up with limits disabled, it'll transfer as much as it can. So that's one thing to be aware. But as long as it's right now, it's only transferring 64,000 RF per tick, and that's because I'm using 64,000 RF per tick everywhere else in my base. So as I use it, it transfers it out. If I was to disconnect that, this would say 0, because it wouldn't have anywhere to go to, like These 4 plugs are, what do they call them? What are these things called? Induction things. These 4 induction matrices are full. If you look at them, they are way full. Like, they filled up super quick. Because we were doing 267 million per tick. But when these weren't full, you'll see that this will then be transferring like 267 million per tick. And as long as it's doing that, then this blade will spin. This blade is very slow right now because it doesn't need to transfer that much. If we were to hook up a battery that could take a lot of energy, you'd see that spinning. But just be aware of that. If this isn't needing to pull power out because you don't have anywhere to store it, then the flow, you see this flow rate will be low. And you'll be like, how come my flow rate's so low? It's because you're just not using the power. So just be aware of that. As long as it's got somewhere to go, then that flow rate will work. So will the boil rate on this side. That also got me messed up. Just trying to get all that right was what caught me for the whole week. This boil rate is only as fast as it needs to be right now. But if we had a place to dump all of this, then this sucker would be cooking. That turbine would be spinning like crazy. This flow rate will go up, all of that. But what I'm showing you here with the 6 layers at the top, again, this is the 17 by 17 by 18. The 6 layers at the top of vents, and only a single thing of steam at the top here, and all these boilers is how you get the maximum amount out. So I have got, what is this, like 3.68 like tera RF stored in each one of these batteries, so we're well set for batteries. And basically all I did is I moved the plugs into the bottoms because I was trying different stuff. Like I tried some different cables to hook these up, and it didn't work as fast. And it wasn't until I realized if you disable the limit on the entire network here for this yellow network, it'll just move like crazy. So stabilized reaction creates the heat, goes into your boiler, creates steam, goes across your laser relays into here, turns the turbine, and you get power out. And so basically we're good on power for the rest of our existence on this pack. Power is covered. The other thing I did want to point out is I had to get 3 more, is it 3? Yeah, 3 more pumps pumping into the system to keep up with the deuterium. And the reason I had to do that is because we changed our mix to get the amount of heat we wanted. If you look at the fuel, I'm at an injection rate of 8 now. And so when I moved to an injection rate of 8, the deuterium couldn't keep up. But I added 3 more pumps for water just to keep this going, and we're good now. Deuterium keeps up just fine. So I've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 water pumps going into 4 electrolytic separators. And so yeah, we're good, guys. Power is handled.